Aloha everyone, my name is Charles and this is the Hawaii Volcano Watch Report for March 2020. In this report, I will be covering the latest information on the Kilauea Volcano, Mauna Loa Volcano, and the Halema'uma'u Crater Lake. On March 4th, 2020, the USGS released its monthly update on the Kilauea Volcano and reported their observations for February. Based on their report, the rates of seismicity during February were variable, however, still within the range observed over the last 12 months. On the Kilauea summit, the report states that the rates of sulfur dioxide emissions continue to remain low. Over at Pahoa and the lower east rift zone, sulfur dioxide levels are still below the detection limits of the equipment. Back up at the summit, the water lake in the Halema'uma'u crater proceeds to grow at a slow rate, expanding and deepening over time. Measurements of the lake's dimensions taken at the beginning of March were 330 feet by 660 feet, or 100 meters by 200 meters, and the approximate depth of the water is 92 feet or 28 meters. That is a measured increase of approximately 20 feet by 20 feet or 5 meters by 6 meters, with a depth increase of 10 feet or 3 meters since February's measurements. Data collected from the past month of February shows summit tiltmeters recorded around 9 deflation-inflation events, which resembles similar activity from January. Based on data collected from March of 2019 to February 2020, the deformation recorded by GPS and tiltmeter stations located on the Kilauea summit appears to be consistent with magma slowly accumulating in the shallow section of the summit magma system. This section of the magma system is around 1 mile or 1 to 2 kilometers below ground level. Ongoing gas measuring continues to show the Halema'uma'u area is currently emitting low levels of sulfur dioxide. That appears to show there is no notable shallowing of magma at this time. However, some sulfur dioxide is absorbing into the summit lake water. The USGS is trying to understand this process and how it relates to the volcano's emission levels. Moving over to the region between Pahoa and Highway 130, the GPS and tiltmeters indicate the deep East Rift Zone magmatic reservoir continues to show slowed refilling. Monitoring data from February suggests deformation rates have decreased slightly in this area and do not indicate any immediate changes for this region. A quick look at the data from the south flank of the Kilauea volcano shows that it is still creeping towards the ocean at an elevated rate. This faster motion began after the 6.9 magnitude earthquake that occurred on May 4th in 2018. Please note, there is currently no active lava or eruptions on the Big Island of Hawaii, though there are still areas that register elevated ground temperatures and minor releases of gases. They are located around and near the 2018 Rift Zone fissures. The gas emissions consist mostly of water steam, tiny amounts of hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide. So expect these conditions to persist for the long term, similar to those after the 1955 Rift Zone eruption. Now for a quick shout out to all the channel subscribers that have become supporters over on Doing Hawaii's official website. Mahalo for your support. I could not do this without you. If you would also like to help support the channel and make videos like this possible, then head over to the website and subscribe today. As a supporter, you get early access to select videos, access to exclusive videos only available on the site, and much more. So head on over to doinghawaii.net and subscribe today. The link is in the description below. And now, back to the report. We now go over to Mauna Loa Volcano and the USGS report released on March 5th, 2020. Based on this report, the data from the week preceding the 5th shows that seismometers detected about 70 small magnitude earthquakes. The majority of these quakes registered shallow depths of less than approximately 3 miles or 5 kilometers below the ground level of the upper elevations. However, just south of Mauna Loa's northeast rift zone, there was a cluster of about 70 small magnitude quakes as well. It needs noting, this area is also generally known to produce shallow seismicity. Going back to the early morning of February 28th, the strongest quake to occur in that week was a 3.7 magnitude. Its location was about 6 miles or 10 kilometers northeast of the Hawaiian Ocean View Estates. This region typically sees several comparable quakes per year of the same relative magnitude. The GPS monitoring station still shows slow summit inflation, which indicates magma supply to the shallow storage system has remained consistent. Samples of gas concentrations at the sulfur cone monitoring site on Mauna Loa's southwest rift zone appear to be staying steady. Finally, temperature measurements at both the sulfur cone and summit fumaroles do not show any notable variations. On February 18th, the USGS provided this interferogram, which measures the range change between the ground and satellites. Data from 2 passes of the European Space Agency's Sentinel-1A and Sentinel-1B satellites from March 31, 2019 and January 31, 2020 was used to construct this image, and each fringe or band of colors represents 2.83 centimeters or 1.1 inches in range change. Looking at point A in the graphic over Mauna Loa, the color bands indicate there was ground inflation of approximately 7 centimeters or 2.75 inches between March 2019 and January 2020. Moving to point B at the summit of Kilauea, the color bands reflect an increase of approximately 40 centimeters or 15.7 inches of inflation in the shallow magma chamber between the 2 satellite passes. Point C in the image identifies the Middle East Rift Zone near Pahoa. Data from this image and GPS sites appear to indicate the inflation has gradually drifted towards Pahoa in recent months, over which time there has been a range change of 17 centimeters or 6.7 inches. These data signals do trend to confirm magma is filling the shallow magma storage system. However, the data combined with the complete data set does not indicate any potential eruptive activity at this time. Rounding out this edition of the Hawaii Volcano Watch Report, we take a look at the latest image comparison of the Halema'uma'u Crater Lake. The image on the left is from November 20th, 2019, and the image on the right is from March 1st, 2020. USGS reports the same camera and lens was used to take both photos in the comparison. In the time between both pictures, the lake widened more than 164 feet or 50 meters east to west and 98 feet or 30 meters north to south. The 2 clusters of rocks marked by the USGS show not only the growth of the lake, but also the stability of the slope between November 2019 and March 2020. You will likewise notice the watercolor has also been changing to a more orange-brown color. However, USGS states the photos are probably exaggerating the color difference. Finally, the blue-green water located around the edges of the lake at the top and bottom of the March 1st image is being interpreted by USGS as groundwater entering the water body. The Doing Hawaii Volcano Watch Report is only possible because of the continued support of viewers like you. Help support the channel and keep content like this coming. Visit the official Doing Hawaii website at doinghawaii.net and become a subscribing supporter today. You can also find links to the channel's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, merchandise stores, and more in the description below. Mahalo for watching, and have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening.